Welcome to the Top Shelf Dusters podcast. I'm Amanda, the fact checker for this crew, and tonight we are joined with Jesse.
The New York Rangers have swept the series for the regular season against the Boston Bruins, and Cass can suck it.
Get it all out, Jesse. Get it all out.
We're losing right now, though.
And with Brett.
The Panthers got shut out a couple times, but we're up 2-0 against Jesse's team right now. We'll see if that holds. We haven't been great without Barkov and Ekblad, but go Panthers.
And with Cass.
I had about an hour to kill before this podcast started, and we started the Taylor Swift documentary on Disney Plus. She is the GOAT. Undeniably.
It's not a documentary, it's just a concert.
Doesn't matter.
My wife dragged me to that to see that in theaters.
He has to relive
How many kids
it.
were like jumping around, going crazy in that thing?
There were not.
Really?
There were just a bunch of people around Chelsea's age and a little bit older. Very little interaction. Made it very boring.
Yeah, GOAT. No one can deny that.
I just watched to see if she was really playing the guitar. That's what I did.
She's not. It's all fake.
No, she was making the correct chord shapes. I was like, okay.
Quick sidebar before we get into this. Has anyone heard of Playboy Cardi before?
No.
Thank you. I had an apprentice at work try and tell me Playboy Cardi is more popular than Taylor Swift.
I have no idea who that is.
Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me?
Jesse's saying he doesn't know who Taylor Swift is.
I don't know who Taylor Swift is either.
He also doesn't know what hockey is because the Bruins are the first team in the league, even though they're
Keep it. You can have that President's Trophy. I said that last week to Brett, or 2 weeks ago to Brett.
You got two games.
No, it was last week.
Down 1 point.
Yeah, whatever. You can keep it. Anyway, we are here now, and we don't have Ethan here. We miss you, Ethan. Wish you were here, but we are going to start
off. Still looking at the Mike Modano statue right now.
That's right.
He's admiring it. He's praying to it.
Underneath it.
We're going to start off with the NHL news. First off, with a retirement announcement, it was announced that Wayne Simmons is going to be retiring on Monday.
Officially this time.
Yeah, there was an announcement that he was going to retire, and then on Twitter he said, "No, I'm not." So now it's official. He's going to be signing a one-day ceremonial contract with the team he spent most of his time with, the Philadelphia Flyers, on April 13th. He will be honored by the team on that day in a game against the New Jersey Devils.
I think it's the right move for Simmons to go retire as a Flyer.
Agreed.
He was on the Leafs these last couple. When you think Wayne Simmons, you see him in a Flyers jersey.
Absolutely. And he's quoted as saying, "Philadelphia has always got a special place in my heart. It's been unbelievable to me. Philly is a blue-collar town, and I think that's kind of what I brought to my game. I think that's kind of what made myself endeared to the fans. I loved every second of it. It was amazing, my time in Philadelphia." So I agree with that. Where else would he go?
I mean, you think about bargain contracts, the 6-year, 3.975 AAV contract he signed. What was it, in 2012? That was like one of the biggest bargains going at that time. I remember talking about it with friends and such like that. Like, what a steal! It must have stunk for him because I feel like every trade deadline he was talked about as getting moved because he was on such a bargain deal. But I mean, played the game the right way for the most part. He was a pain in the ass to play against, and good for him, good for him.
I don't think he gets his number retired, and I don't think
absolutely not.
I don't think I call him a Hall of Famer, but great dude, just like you said, Cass, and it still was a great career.
He is ending his career with 526 points, 263 goals, 263 assists. A nice balance there. He's played for the Kings, the Flyers, Nashville, New Jersey, Buffalo Sabres, and the Maple Leafs. He had 6 seasons with at least 20 goals, was named the most valuable player of the 2017 NHL All-Star Game, and was voted winner of the 2019 NHL Mark Messier Leadership Award. While I agree, I don't think that he is a Hall of Famer. He has had a nice career, so congratulations, Wayne. Enjoy retirement. I'm sure we'll see you on TV or on the radio somewhere soon.
I agree. Yeah, he had over 1,000 games too, which is huge, and he at least has a 2017 Honda CRV if he won MVP. So that's good.
I would love to see Wade Simmons join a broadcast team, probably one of those TNT crews or something.
Do they give them a Honda?
Yeah,
I
if you
think
win
they
MVP,
did at
you
one
do.
point.
Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah, I
know
think they
that.
still do.
They
Yeah.
they
Honda.
definitely gave out
The official vehicle.
Well, this year
these millionaire players.
they gave him $1 million, which I'd probably want over a Honda. So
Yeah, because the Honda's like,
You can buy several Hondas with $1 million.
with car prices now, the Honda CRV is probably $70,000. So very likely.
thanks, COVID.
Moving on from that, it was also announced that Rick Bowness, head coach of the Winnipeg Jets, had a minor medical procedure earlier this week and was not on the bench for the game against the New York Rangers, which Winnipeg won 4-2. The 69-year-old coach returned to Winnipeg for treatment and will be back once his condition improves. Associate coach Scott Arniel is serving as coach while Rick Bowness is out. So this is the second time that he's going to be away from the team this season. He also was away earlier this season after his wife suffered a seizure in October. So hopefully everything's going to go well for him and he'll be back on the bench relatively soon.
Dude's had to face a lot of adversity despite how successful his team has been, which probably I was gonna say I don't know how much it helps everything feel better, but you know, they have to give something the team to rally around a little bit, and it sounds like he's gonna be okay and all that, which is great. But they won even without him behind the bench. But clearly the Jets doing well. You have to give the credit to Bonus, and even though Maurice has done well with Florida, the Jets have been a lot better with Bonus.
I mean, I think Tockett's got it locked, but this should only help Bonus get Coach of the Year, I think, facing all this adversity and the teams doing as well as they are, where people had them missing the playoffs. So, kind of sucks, but
Yeah,
hopefully
us too,
everything
right?
works out for them.
We all had them like this team, like they're signing these guys these giant contracts. It makes no sense. We were definitely not Jets believers at the beginning.
In the offseason,
I don't know if you were past, but I know me and Jesse weren't.
In the offseason, I remember asking if there were any Winnipeg Jets fans around, because I didn't think that they had any more fans after how poorly they were doing. And then, I've got egg on my face from that one because they are, I believe they're first still currently in the Central, unless Colorado took that over.
Jesse, people are loving your Predators gear online.
Are they?
Hey. The late, happy belated Nolan birthday. Nolan's jumping in.
Oh, that's right.
Tyson's just mouthing off as Tyson does.
Jesse, Jets are third now in Central.
Oh.
Colorado and Dallas both have 95 points.
Well, they did lose today to the Islanders. They got absolutely steamrolled by the Islanders
6-3,
today.
right?
So, yeah, it was not a good game for Winnipeg.
Better watch out. Nashville's going to take their spot. Speaking of Nashville, right?
Go Preds!
I'm gonna start saving clips because I believe Brett was the one that said there's no way the Islanders are going to make the playoffs last week, and they're only
They still couldn't. It's not a lock or guarantee or anything.
Oh, they're out right now, but they have a very good chance of making it. So
They are fourth in the wild card standing at 75, with Detroit being second at 78 points. So it's not that big.
and they have a game in
Okay,
hand in Detroit.
But they also,
Yeah.
Washington, who has more points than New York, has a game in hand on them. So
I think
Washington-
Washington's gonna jump Philly if I had to guess, because Philly's played 2 more games than them.
I think that's most likely going to happen. Yeah, I agree. So, quick side note, the reason why I'm wearing the Nashville Predators jersey and hat is because of the absolute heater that they're on. Like, go Preds, what the hell? Where did that come from? Nice.
Oh boy, mush.
it was
Mush
all about
City.
Beauvillier, right? The
There we
Beauvillier
go.
trade.
Yeah, it's all Beauvillier, right? Moving on, Tom Wilson, everyone's favorite Washington Capitals forward, has been suspended for 6 games by the NHL Department of Player Safety for high-sticking the head of Toronto Maple Leafs forward Noah Gregor. Has anyone seen this hit?
I have.
What an idiot.
Give us your
Brad
opinion. on that.
Brad Marchand would never do something like this. This is unacceptable. This is unallowed. I have no problems with the 6 games that they gave him. it sucks because Washington needs him in the lineup with the push
Mhm.
they're trying to make right now too. Hopefully they can rally around him being a knucklehead, and it won't affect them too much.
I'm wondering where me and Jesse stand on this because I don't think Cass
Jesse
can
and I.
speak out of his bias. Sorry, I wasn't great. I'm good. I'm a math guy, not a grammar guy. But anyways, who do you think is like worse as in terms of like how like scummy or ratty they are? Tom Wilson or Brad Marchand?
Nick Cousins.
I would probably say Tom Wilson. I feel like the Rangers have seen Tom Wilson a lot more over the last couple seasons. Obviously, with the Bruins being in the Atlantic, they still see them often. But I don't know, man. I hate Tom Wilson. I don't hate Brad Marchand as much as I used to.
It depends. If we're talking 5 or 8 years ago, it's different answer. But
That's what I was.
it's Tom
That's what I was
Wilson
gonna
right
say,
now.
Cass. Yeah.
If
I
you
like if
if you had asked me this when he was licking people's faces, I would probably
You
say
would say
Brad
Marchand.
Marchand. Yeah, I was not a fan of that. I thought that was just absolutely appalling and made no damn sense at all. But right now, I would say Tom Wilson.
Speaking about licking, Tyson said Tom Wilson can lick my entire
Oh my gosh.
4
Don't-
asterisks.
What
So
you
use your
really have,
imagination on the 4. But
dude needs to calm
just
down.
had to put it out.
Gonna have to
Tyson
ban him
doesn't know
from
how
the
to spell my
comment
name.
section.
No.
So for those who didn't see the hit, we don't have a clip of it because Facebook would copyright infringe us. Wilson and Gregor were against the boards in the Capital Zone when Wilson made a hit on Gregor. Immediately after the hit, Wilson swung his stick with his left hand upwards and towards Gregor, making contact with his face. Tom Wilson did appear apologetic towards Gregor after the hit, but he did receive a double minor. The incident was at 12 minutes 15 seconds of the third period, where the game was pretty much over at that point. Washington had no more steam. They were down 6-3. It just was not a hockey play at all. So I'm glad that Tom Wilson received this amount of games. I think that it's reasonable for the incident, and plus he's got that history as well.
The history.
You guys
is
know
the
how many
big
times
thing.
he's been suspended?
Ooh,
Not
you
as
want to
many
speak
as
to guess?
Marchand.
Yeah, Jesse, you
7.
probably already know from researching. Okay. Brett says 7. Cass,
Or
this is his 6th time being suspended.
So close.
So Cass wins, closest without going over Price is Right rules.
Mhm.
Always,
Oh, I
always,
win.
always.
Jack Diddley squat.
Yeah, the last time was in 2021. It was a 7-game ban for boarding with head contact. So he's had
Against-
at least 3 years.
And that was
Go
against
ahead,
Brandon
Jesse.
Carlo.
Oh, I will say, like, Tom Wilson's built like a brick porta potty. So, I can't
Full
say
of
that
crap.
one. So like when he gets suspended, it's like hits are like nasty. Like Marchand shorter, he's dirtier, I would say. But like Tom Wilson, when he does it, like people can get effed up a little bit more.
Yeah, he's a
severely
big
than
dude,
Most
like you
other
said.
players.
Well, I immediately think back to that incident against the Rangers where he like body slammed Artemi Panarin into the ice, and that
Yeah.
was not like a hockey play at all. And then he's acting all macho in the penalty box, like, like shut up, you big goon.
Next time, I want you to wear a pair of hockey pads and just
He
rip
is
off
the
your shirt and
goon.
do that.
The thing with Marchand and Tom Wilson has definitely gotten better as an offensive player, but Marchand has always been a top tier offensive talent. Like that's a big difference between him and Wilson. And Wilson has started to put up the points, but I don't know how much of that's him and how much it's been being the line mate of Alex Ovechkin. You know,
Well, that's why it cracks me up when people are like, I don't want Marchand on my team. Like,
I'll take
shut
Marchand.
the F up. You know what I mean? Like,
dude,
you're a liar.
he'd light
And
it up.
Tyson's caps key is now stuck because he only types in capital letters now. But yeah, like you can't tell me you wouldn't want Marchand. Like that's ridiculous. It's dumb. You sound like you don't know what you're talking about, and you're lying to yourself and your whole family, and that's rude.
I think people say that just because of the reputation that he has. And I don't think he's as pesky as he used to be. I think he's calmed down a lot, Brad Marchand,
Going
over
for
the
that
last
Lady
couple of
Bing.
years. He deserves it. Give him the Bing. Get rid of that trophy as a whole, but give him the Bing first before you do that.
He was pretty pissed today. I missed most of the game, but
The one that they lost against the Flyers?
Yes, yeah. Ugh. ugh. From what I saw, it was like, oh, goal, oh, nice comeback, oh, goal, oh, nice comeback, oh my God, what a save! You let that in? Are you flipping kidding me? But it's just one of those games. Flyers are a tough team. Like, I know we didn't expect them to do that well. Like, they remind me of the Florida Panthers last year, where there's just no quit in that team, no quit at all.
So you're
Rangers have
saying that
tied it up, Bessie, by the way.
real quick, Cass said that he thinks the Flyers are going to the Stanley Cup final. Moving on from that, this is
They'll beat the Rangers in the first round, so
please don't say that. There was an incident last night, speaking of the Capitals, where they were playing against the Carolina Hurricanes. It was at the 3:51 mark of the overtime period where goaltender for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Overtime?
Yes, indeed.
So shit though.
That's exactly what his name is. Pyotr Kochetkov gloved the shot by Capitals defenseman John Carlson. Carlson skated back through the crease in an attempt to play the puck as the whistle blew. Kochetkov then appears to look back at Carlson, and as that happened, he extended his left leg in what appeared to me to look like a kicking motion towards Carlson's right leg, which ended up tripping him. The play looked incredibly dangerous. If you haven't seen it, I suggest looking on Twitter for it. Had Kochetkov come in contact with an unpadded area of Carlson's body, it would have done some serious damage. And to my surprise, there was no penalty on the play. And to this point, there has been no word from the Department of Player Safety whether there was going to be supplemental discipline for that.
Let's hear the defense. Amanda, how do you defend this young buck
Such a
stud
dirty.
goaltender of yours?
My first defense would be that he's Russian.
Oh, so
Yeah, I
that
think that
explains
should
it.
just-
That explains it.
Exactly.
That explains why he's a scumbag. I got it.
Horrible.
I've never seen Bobrovsky do that. That's kind of weird.
There.
The only thing I will say is Carlson had been kind of slashing at him. There was a lot that hadn't been called that game. Emotions were high. Definitely not a good look for Kochetkov. As much as I love him, I can see him as the future for the goalie for the Canes. That's also just such a dangerous play. There's really no.
It really
defending
was.
it. All joking aside, he has to learn how to control that temper, how to control those emotions. He is young in the grand scheme of like goalies because they tend to be older as they get back, like really get into the NHL. And he just hasn't learned how to control those emotions yet. We've seen it when he's faced off against Brad Marchand, where he like squared up with him. So yeah,
So you're telling me he's Bennington 2.0.
No,
We'll see if he starts
no.
throwing water bottles at people in post game interviews. When I pulled up this video, the clip, before we started the podcast, I like verbally was like, "Oh, geez!" Like
It was not a good look.
it's not a good look. It's intentional, and regardless of what Carlson was doing, like if you said he was like slashing at him, I think that retaliation is too much. Too much. There's other ways you can do it.
I agree with that. Like he should have stood up and started shoving him. You know, like we had that incident in October.
Face wash.
We had that incident in October where that player Adam Johnson had that incident where he was passed away on the ice because of a blade. You got to take that into consideration, and you got to make sure that you're not using your skate as a weapon. They're knives on your feet. Like you can't be doing things like that.
No.
Can't be doing things
And
like
I
that.
understand. Like the clip I saw, you didn't see any of the tomfoolery John Carlson was doing, but like slashing the stick is different than swinging with a
Shoving your skate towards the dick.
with a blade. I mean, the goalie has a thicker stick. Slash him with your stick. I guarantee it probably hurt a little bit
Who
more.
was the
than that.
goalie who slashed a dude in the nuts that one time? Like, was that Brodeur? I feel like it was Brodeur.
It was Brodeur on Sean Avery, I think.
Sean Avery. Yeah.
Was it against Sean Avery? I don't.
Yeah,
That doesn't surprise me at all. They had
give Kochetkov any ideas.
they had a very contentious history with each other, and Avery still calls Brodeur Fatso, still to this day.
Wow.
Still, so we'd love to hear your thoughts in the chat about that. Sorry, go ahead, Amanda.
Yeah, I was just about to say that it's just a very unfortunate look for Kochetkov, and I can promise that even if the NHL player safety doesn't do anything, Rod laid into him for that because
The
Rod's not the
schnoz?
I
type
hope
of
so. Yeah.
he's not the type of coach or when he played the type of player who would go for that.
Love it, Jesse.
So Tyson says goalies shouldn't have to do dirty crap like that. The team should be backing him and notice these things going down. So where was the team when this happened?
It's a good question.
In front of the net, trying to make sure the goal didn't go in. It was a ridiculous game.
Yeah, but the whistle blew right at that moment. I mean, it didn't look like they retaliated in any way, and it didn't even look like the Capitals players retaliated in any way. John Carlson kind of came up and was like, "What are you doing?" So, like,
Michael Bunting's gone, so that team has no backbone.
so another
Brendan
first round
Lemieux.
exit.
Dang.
Oh, we'll go third with no wins. A sweep that isn't a sweep.
We lost 4
We
games,
didn't
but we
lose
didn't
4
lose
games.
4 games. Yeah. Thanks, Rod. I'm gonna be quoting that until I die. Moving
We're
on.
here to entertain for you, Jesse.
Thanks, I appreciate that.
Since the Panthers didn't win the cup, that's probably one of my favorite moments from last year's playoff run.
Definitely not Vegas winning.
No.
Definitely not Boston losing.
Oh, that was a good one, though. That was a good one.
Oh, that was awesome.
Akira Schmid.
Triggered. Moving on from that, Flyers captain Sean Couturier was healthy scratched in back-to-back games this week. He did come back against the game today
Oh, he did.
against the Boston Bruins. This is the first time in his career that he was healthy scratched. He was scratched against the Toronto Maple Leafs, a game which the Flyers won 4-3, and then again against the Carolina Hurricanes, which the Flyers lost in overtime 3-2. And when a reporter began to question head coach John Tortorella after the win against Toronto, he responded, "I'm not talking about Sean. We're not talking about that. That's between him and I." Essentially, just shooting down the question from the reporter. Couturier was also named captain just a little over a month ago on February 14th.
Yeah.
He has 11 goals and 36 points in 64 games this season, but hasn't scored in his past 15 games with only 4 assists over that span. Reasonable.
Yeah, I was definitely surprised to see this because of the thing you mentioned that he was just named captain. Like, this guy is your newly named captain. He's supposed to be stepping up. Clearly, he hasn't been.
He
Right?
hasn't
You just
been.
said that he only got 4 assists in what was that? 15 games. You said.
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if it's because of his performance or something that happened off ice. If it happened off ice, then we'll never know.
According to Elliot Friedman, he said that it was a pace issue. I don't know exactly what he means by that. I mean, I think that John Tortorella was trying to send a message to his team as well. And what's a good way to do that? What better way to do that than to healthy scratch your captain? I mean, they did win the game against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they got a point in the other game that he was out. So they get.
Maybe they should leave him out.
I
They
don't know
won
about
again today,
that.
though, right?
They did win today with him in the lineup, though he only had 13 minutes and 9 seconds of ice time.
Cass has
Oh.
thoughts. I know he does.
Yeah, I don't know. So I'm sure you all know the history between Brandon Dubinsky and Tortorella.
Yes.
You guys. Oh, he came out and he posted on Twitter. I'm pulling it up right now. He said, Torts, your tactics are getting old. Instead of scratching and embarrassing your captain and one of your best players, how about try and tell him I'm giving you 20 minutes tomorrow night, no matter what, with the PP and the PK, and go play free, have fun, and bleep and get it done.
They
Sounds
did.
like Dubinsky should just if he wants to do that, just then I don't know. I think that's a little silly for Dubinsky to post it. Like, if you want to do it, then you should be a coach. Like, give me a
Well,
break.
they have a very
We
contentious
got-
history.
I know they do, but to me, it makes Dubinsky look bad for posting something that petty.
Well, I mean, it
We
makes
got a little bit of breaking news.
Oh.
Nothing crazy.
go.
Ilya Samsonov is hurt. He is leaving the game, and Martin Jones is in.
Oh, so much for no injury news.
So,
Did you see what happened or hear what happened?
no, Elliot Freeman just tweeted, "Oh boy, Oilers cut it to 5-3 with 3:39 to go, and Samsonov is hurt. He is leaving the game, and Martin Jones is in."
Amanda, if you get any updates, can you let us know about that?
Yep, pulling it up now.
To touch back on the Dubinsky comment, I mean, I understand I understand why he's upset with John Tortorella, but they ended up winning that game that Couturier was out. So
And the got point, like you said. So 3 points.
Message received, right? I mean, the Flyers are in that third spot in the Metropolitan Division. They're danger close to losing it to the Washington Capitals. You got to send some sort of message to your team. And what better way to do that than to healthy scratch the captain? I'm going to keep going with that. I think that was a good move by Torts. I mean, they got their points. They won today with him back in the lineup. No harm, no foul, in my opinion.
I'm sure there were other methods to do, but if it works, you can't really knock it like Dubinsky's trying to do. Like maybe if they lost like 6-0 or something, or if they got shut out because they didn't have Couturier, then maybe you can make an argument. But the fact that getting 3 out of a possible 4 points without their captain,
Win. That's a win, in my opinion.
I think Tyson's hungry because he's saying John Tortellini, which I actually had for dinner tonight. Tortellini, it was amazing.
Squidward, Tortellini.
I am also hungry. Let's not talk about tortellini, please.
What's a tip?
Moving on.
I don't know if Samson
More Capitals news, right?
Yes, sir.
We got Alex Ovechkin. He scored his 20th goal of the season. I'm not sure in what game, but with his 20th goal, he became only the third player in NHL history to score 20-plus goals in 19 straight seasons. Crazy,
Impressive.
incredible feat. And we were worried about his
Anyone else hearing that in the background?
someone's got a game on in our
Amanda, is that your clip?
We could hear it.
Oh, cool. Sorry about that.
I actually got some updated statistics about Alex Ovechkin.
Go
Sure,
for
give it, Cass.
So he has scored 6 goals in his last 4 games.
Nice.
He is now up to 24 goals with 13 games remaining. Does he get to 30 goals this year?
I could see it.
They might need it if they want to get that third wild card spot. So it's not like they're in a losing season or anything. Like there's the pressure to put the puck in the net there too. And Ovechkin, he can be a clutch player for sure. I mean, a lot of his goals aren't just goals and that are in blowouts and stuff. Like he can score clutch goals in clutch moments. So
They are 1
I
point.
think it's possible. I don't think he will do it. Let's say I'm gonna say he finishes with 28.
I don't know. He's playing Buffalo twice, Ottawa, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, Carolina. We know they're probably going to have a goalie suspended anyway. And then he's
Deservedly.
playing Winnipeg, Detroit, Toronto, and Boston.
The
So,
Capitals.
I don't know. I would love it.
Go ahead.
Maybe 20.
Oh. I was just going to say I would love for him to hit 30. I mean, the guy's prolific.
I mean, he was on pace. We were talking a lot of crap about him, and he was on pace at
was on
one
pace
point
for 120.
for 17 goals. And since the All-Star break, he has come out on a heater, it seems. The Capitals are 1 point behind the Detroit Red Wings, who lost today to the Nashville Predators. And they need Ovechkin. If they want to make a playoff push, they need Ovechkin to be scoring. And I think that he
That's
has
what
the
I'm
ability
saying,
to
yeah.
do it.
I'd love to see him get 30 because then I'm sure he'd be in some other conversation for how many players scored 30 goals in a season. The fact that the guys had the scoring with the longevity, like that's why he's here competing with Gretzky for the most goals all time, is because he's been able to do it for this long.
I was going to say, I wonder if Tom Wilson being suspended is going to affect his goal streak
Will it?
the rest of the season.
Is Tom
I don't
Wilson
know.
really the reason Ovechkin been scoring?
Tom Wilson's a player. You don't have to like him. If they're playing on the same line, Tom Wilson is someone who can get the puck to him and make plays happen.
Fair enough.
Tom Wilson's someone you have to keep an eye on the ice, and it takes a little bit of.
I mean,
focus
he's
off
no
of
Brad
Ovechkin.
Marchand. So
So as of right now, Ovechkin is 48 goals behind Wayne Gretzky's record. Do you think he has the ability to do that next season?
I think it's going to take him until the 25-26 season. I think that's when it happens.
I mean, he's what 50 away. If he gets 25 the next 2 seasons, he's got it. So there's no way he doesn't, unless he unfortunately gets
Well,
injured.
Jesse was asking if you
severely.
think he's going to do it next season. He'd have to
No
score
way, no
40
friggin' way.
something. It'd be insane if he did. Like just all of
Imagine
a sudden.
He
just
comes
like-
back off
Unless-
this season and scores 50 out of nowhere.
Unless Connor McDavid gets traded to the Washington Capitals and he's
Oh my
signing
gosh,
Ovechkin, it's
please.
not going to happen.
It'd be more like Ovechkin gets traded to the Oilers.
That's
not
more
gonna
likely.
Ovi is slow and old and drinks Pepsi. Tyson's wife says.
It's true. So moving on from that, there is more news regarding the Arizona Coyotes and their potential land acquisition. The team is hoping to purchase land in North Phoenix to build a new arena. On March 14th, Arizona Land Department's Board of Appeals voted to approve putting up the state-owned land for auction. The Coyotes have petitioned to buy the 110-acre land under the company name Miracle Development, and it's valued at $68 million. There was a lot of talk over the GM meetings about whether or not they thought that Arizona was going to be able to do it. Commissioner Gary Bettman and Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly seem to think that they are going to get this done, but we've heard it before, and things have fallen through, and the Arizona Coyotes are going to go to Salt Lake City.
I'm about to say, Jesse, you said, like, doesn't this feel like deja vu? Like, this is exactly what they said was going to go down in Tempe, right? They put it to a vote. It got approved to petition. They put it to the vote. No. So they're like, well, let's just try to do the same exact thing in another place in Arizona. This madness will never end, it seems.
I really do want them to be successful down there, but, you know, the way things are going, it just doesn't seem like anybody wants them there.
Just someone needs to buy this team, put them somewhere where they can play in a 15,000 at least stadium, like 15,000 seat stadium, at least. 15,000 would still be pretty small for most NHL arenas, but a lot better than 5,000. Come on.
So NHL Deputy
They still don't-
Commissioner... Sorry, go ahead, Cass.
Go ahead. No, go.
Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly was asked if the NHL would have time to pivot if or relocate the Coyotes in time for the start of next season if they don't win the auction, and Daly said probably not. I don't believe so. So if that doesn't happen, I mean, either way, we're likely going to see them playing another season
At least one.
in the mullet, at least one more season in the mullet, regardless of the outcome of this auction.
But to ask a question about that, if it doesn't go down, like if this Northern Phoenix thing gets voted no, just like Tempe, doesn't it just feel like they're going to try to do something else in Arizona because they seem to refuse to let it go. Like, are they going to just try another area of Phoenix? I don't know. It just feels like they're going to do whatever they can to make sure this franchise just sticks in Mullet Arena. It's so frustrating.
I don't think the NHLPA is going to allow that. The PA is pretty upset with them, and I think they're over all of this nonsense.
So you think they relocate them if this Northern Phoenix thing doesn't go down?
I think they're going to have no choice.
I hope so.
So getting
They-
back to this Mullet Arena, the Coyotes are signed to play there through 24-25 with an option for 25-26.
So it might take 2 more seasons.
I mean, how long is this, assuming if they win, how long is it going to take to get this entire arena taken care of and built and finished? I mean, it's going to take a couple years.
About 3 years.
Amanda said 3 years.
Just under 2, I would say. If they're pushing, if they're doing double shifts and stuff. The thing that stinks is in construction now, a lot of the stuff still from COVID is delayed. It takes years to get some equipment and stuff like that. So, like,
Material
you have to
too.
put in the order, like, right away. You know, but I mean, a lot of it's going to be groundwork too. Like, it's not like you're going into an existing building; like you're building from the ground up here. So, you need to get drawings. You need
I'm
to get
just hitting
approvals,
some,
all
like,
that bullshit.
some PTSD just from my own situation at my job. I work at a church and we got impacted very heavily by a hurricane. Our like main sanctuary is completely unusable. We're still that's like post 2 years out, and we still haven't like even been able to start construction on it because we're still waiting on materials for the roof.
That's insane. That's
It's
insane.
nuts.
So where are they going? Salt Lake City or Atlanta?
I feels like
Salt
Salt
Lake.
Lake City's the safer bet.
They already
What'd
got
you
the
say,
arena.
Cass?
I said Salt Lake.
Oh, I thought it was L.A. I'm like, what?
Why not?
Another team in SoCal. That's not what we need.
All right, so we're
We've got to
all
vote
Utah.
for Utah and and Atlanta in the chats, 1 for 1.
Thanks, guys.
So here's hoping that the Arizona Coyotes are able to get something done. Like I said, the NHLPA is fed up with the situation over there. Marty Walsh has come out against all everything that's going on. He said that the players don't want to be playing in a college arena. I don't disagree with him. I don't blame him for saying that. That's why I think that this is the last straw for this team. If this doesn't get done, that's it. They're going to have to move somewhere. So that's where we're at on that.
I'm surprised players are still signing there, right? Because they had a decent offseason, and
Did they? They
Yeah,
signed
they-
Zucker. Who else?
they got Bukestad,
Humber.
Dumba.
Yeah, those two
Um,
players couldn't find a contract anywhere else.
Oh, they could have. Come on, they could have played somewhere else.
And now both of those guys are out.
Yeah,
Even
trade bait.
Bukestad?
I don't know if I think Bukestad's
Yeah,
still
so-
No,
there.
Bukestad's still on the team.
Yeah. Zucker,
Zucker
and
and,
Dumba.
Dumba.
Zucker and Dumba, though, yeah.
So I do have a quick Leafs goalie update
Shoot.
about Ilya. I watched what happened. He got injured when he was trying to make a save on a goal by Leon Draisaitl. He did a split to try to save it and did not come back up from that.
Probably pulled.
Still
So-
crying.
Yeah,
You
What
said
that's the most I
twisted
can
groin?
find right now.
Twisted.
Oh, bueno.
groin.
That stinks too, because I would much rather him be in net and the Bruins beat them, so that the Leafs fan can't have any excuse.
Oh, we didn't have
What?
our goalie.
have a goalie. Call
Their
up
goalie should be
Matt Murray.
Dang it, who is it? Oh no! Who's the young guy?
Joseph Wall?
Yeah,
Oh.
Joseph Wall. I thought
He's
I
hurt,
know
isn't he?
Samsonov has is he hurt? Is that what happened? He's hurt again?
Let me
Amanda.
see.
I have no idea. I try not to pay attention to Toronto. They let me know anyway, though.
So I mean, they got Martin Jones, who actually has played decently
He's been decent.
this year.
He's got a good.
And I think Matt Murray's still injured, right? And if Joseph Wall's injured, they're in trouble. Like,
So
Martin
what I
Jones.
am reading about Wall as of 2 hours ago, he will play on Sunday.
Okay.
Oh,
So he
he's
is
in the
hurt,
Marlies.
but he's gonna be back.
okay, there you go.
Maybe he's with the Marlies right now. Who knows?
I'll let you guys
What a
know how he
mess.
looks. Don't worry.
What a mess Leafs goaltending's been the last 4 or 5 seasons.
It's been a
Ever
while.
since they traded away Tuukka Rask for Andrew Aycroft.
That's true. Like
Literally.
What a great
Hey,
trade
talk
for
about-
you, huh?
Talk about shooting yourself in the foot. It's amazing. I love it.
division trade coming back to bite you so hard.
I know, and he has a Stanley Cup ring, and they haven't made it past
They haven't made past the second round, and they haven't made past first round since the thing other than last year.
Yes,
They got
it's an
lucky.
addendum to that joke now.
It's kind of
Asterisk.
annoying, isn't it?
So we wanted to talk a little bit about some jerseys that the Washington Capitals are debuting, and I'm actually going to pull it up here. They are.
Are these game worn jerseys?
I don't believe so. I think they're
think
just
they're-
some special jerseys that they're selling in their team store.
Yeah.
So one of you mentioned that cherry blossoms are a pretty big deal in Washington. Can you elaborate on that? Because I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. So my buddy lives down there, and around this time of year, maybe a little bit later, like it's a big thing down there. People go and look at the cherry blossom trees down there, and I think that's the obviously the theme of this, but I think that's the idea behind these. I don't hate them.
I think they look
I
cool.
believe, yeah, they're different. You know, I love the front; it's amazing. And while we're talking about the Capitals, the kid that lives down there, He actually texted me the other day, and he said the talks of moving the Caps and the Wizards to Virginia seems like a done deal, but now it's kind of falling apart. Leonidas, who's the owner, is now in talks with Wes Moore to try and bring the teams to Maryland.
Well, did you
Oh.
see there was something posted in our Discord that I don't remember the exact details, and I'm surprised we didn't write it down to talk about it, but there was the contract that they have in Washington keeps them in that arena until like 2057 or something like that because of the renovations that they received in 2007.
7. Oh my god.
That's interesting. I didn't.
50-year
missed
contract.
that. Yeah, I thought it might have been 2027, but anyway,
It was
either
a long
way,
time.
I'm just relaying the information that I have. I mean, you would think you'd want a longer term lease for something like that, but I don't know.
But anyway, back to these
So
jerseys.
They
I was
have
gonna
to
say,
play through 2047.
2047.
2047. Still a long time. So for these jerseys, right, it's just mostly about the logo, right? Just like most warm-up jerseys. And that's always kind of like the detraction for me, like that they make all these jerseys and it's just kind of like they're just for sale. That's it. And it'd be cool if they actually like made some of these like alternate jerseys that be worn in game and add some extra detail into them, some striping and piping that goes on, not just nice logo. Here's some of those shoulder numbers. That's it. Like, and that always takes away from me these warm up jerseys. I'm like, yeah, the logo's cool. That's it. That's all. That's really the only positive you get to really say out of these.
It would be really cool if they wore these on the ice. I don't know why they don't. I think that's kind of like I understand the ceremonial jerseys and I understand like the special jerseys and stuff like that and the warm up things but I mean wear them in a game if you can. I mean if the NHL will allow it, why not? Right?
I'm
So
sure they'll be
you-
in a stadium
so-
series. Maybe they can do something with it.
These jerseys, the authentic cherry blossom jerseys, won't be for public sale either.
And what are they?
They're- So each player is going to sign a jersey, and then they're going to go up for auction, and they will benefit. Let's see, I lost it.
I have
the
that.
MSE Foundation. Okay,
That's nice, I guess.
sorry, Jesse.
No, you're fine. You got it. You beat me to it.
Although they are selling merch based on it. As
Yes.
So
Yeah, there was going to be merch in their team store. I guess I misspoke on that. I thought they were selling these jerseys in their team store, but I know there is definitely merchandise in their team store surrounding this logo with the Cherry Blossom Capitals logo there.
most of these special
Man-
jerseys are auctioned off and go to some charity. Sorry, Cap.
Amanda, can you send me that 2047 link so I can look at it? This jersey's way better
Because he
than the
doesn't
second one
believe
we're
you.
going to talk about. No, I want to
He
send it to my
doesn't.
buddy.
Yeah, and we're going to move on
Um,
to that second jersey, and I know nothing about it, so I'm going to let you talk, Amanda.
She loves it.
Oh yeah, I think it's the greatest. No, it's this new Carolina jersey. Supposed to be a nod to the past that never was. To quote the official Twitter. Let's see. Of course, now I lost it. But it's supposed to be a throwback to their collegiate history, which is the NC State Wolfpack. There, that they share the same land, but it's
Stupid.
a terrible jersey.
It's stupid.
It really
It's boring.
It's literally like the Calgary Flames and the Carolina Hurricanes had redheaded stepchild.
I don't understand the C logo up on the front. I understand like the double hurricane flag that's incorporated into the C, but it's a weird gold color which
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
tie
weird.
into anything. And then like the hurricane
vintage
patch
part of
is
it,
also
Amanda.
has that logo. No,
If I had to guess, the
only-
C stand for Carolina, though, right?
Or Canes.
how did you?
I think since it's supposed to be a
Carolina
node to
Canes.
NC State, I would say it's Carolina. And
It's-
yeah, we got to
it's
see that
terrible.
firsthand. Like Amanda said, the PNC Arena is like here, and literally you can take 50 steps and be at the NC State's like football.
How do you know
arena.
that, Brett?
We were there. We went to a
He did
game
say
team-
that.
Well, I did say
Well,
that. I said that at
Cath-
the beginning.
was being
Cass and I
facetious.
literally at the game parked right next to their practice facility. Like it is that close.
Yeah.
The one great part about this jersey is that shoulder patch with Stormy, because yes, that is a nod to your vintage Wolfpack um mascot. So that part is great. And we've seen that vintage Stormy last year for the first time. Make that the front.
Well,
Not that stupid C.
The C should have been the shoulder logo. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
You're right. That would have been cool.
well, did you see
Could have
the
tolerated it then.
Did you see the other logos that they were potentially discussing? Because they looked awful. They looked like baseball logos, and I didn't like. I mean, this one's ugly, but the other ones were hideous.
When you're saying baseball logo, you're saying it's like the cursive
Yes.
slant with the
Yes.
Yeah.
It had like
They were all really bad options.
it had like hurricanes written in cursive with like a little like wraparound underline. It looked
that's
terrible.
baseball. Yep.
Yeah, it was very bad.
Yeah. And it's such a shame because the Hurricanes make such amazing shirts in their shop. Like that is one of the things that they have been great about. However, designing logos, apparently no one understands what to do for that for the Canes.
At least it seems like they figured out the double flag thing. Remember all the flag they get for the single flag alternate logo they
I hate
used to
that single
have
flag.
because that's just a tropical
Yeah.
storm.
Why don't they use the double flag logo like all the time? I think that logo is dope
I
as
thought
hell.
they were
and
going to do that.
I like that they like
They
baked
pretty
in.
much have, yeah.
I like that they baked in the shape of North Carolina into that. I think that was a really cool detail.
Yeah, that basically has become their home jersey now.
Okay.
Even the players voted that was like a couple years back. The players could vote for like whatever jersey they wanted to wear during the playoffs as their home jersey. The players voted
Make it
that black
black.
jersey, and since then, it's slowly been instead of like they don't wear their reds as much now for home. It's definitely more their black jersey, which is a fantastic logo.
It is their best
They need
logo.
to
Hands
design.
down.
They need to design an away jersey with that logo, and then that'll make it the official thing. And I think if they do like white, black, and then with red piping, I think that'll look really sick.
Remember,
like what I'm
they did win.
picturing.
They did win the best jersey on our sister page, Freeze the Puck Hockey, even though we
They
think it was
did.
rigged.
It was rigged.
It wasn't rigged.
It wasn't rigged. It just showed that we had way too many Canes fans on the page. That's what
We
it
love
showed.
our Canes fans.
No, we
Love our
don't.
Canes
Don't lie to
fans.
them.
All three of them. Oh no, that's Panthers fans. Sorry, I get confused.
What are you talking about? We have 7. Come on
I'm
now.
sorry.
Jeez. Don't forget about the other 4.
So that is the only compliment I will ever give the Carolina Hurricanes. Moving on from that, there is discussion that came out from the GM meetings that that there's going to be a series that the NHL is teaming up with Amazon for a behind-the-scenes kind of look. It is due for a fall release and is going to center around 10 to 12 star players. And we wanted to talk a little bit about who we wanted to see on that series. So someone else go
you know
first.
who you don't want to see is Connor McDavid.
You know that's going to happen.
Very little. It's gonna make that'll make the show so boring. If I pick who I want to see, it's Matty Tkachuk.
Him and Bedard are shoo-ins for it. Come on. You know it. I know it. I mean, there's no way that they're going to not let those two. And they're just going to do an all Connor TV show. Connor McDavid, Connor Bedard, Connor Brown.
Connor Brown.
There's another Connor that I can't think of, but, you know.
Ingram.
Yeah,
Ingram.
there you go. There's a lot of Connors in the NHL. They could just do an entire show on them.
Kyle Connor.
He counts.
Um,
I'll allow it.
So we did talk about this player earlier, but I think with his early season struggles and how well he's been doing lately, I think Ovechkin would be a good
Ovi.
good player to do.
He's always.
I also think Pat Maroon would be hilarious.
Does he qualify as a star?
Hey, I don't think you like you. Neither of you and I don't think Amanda really are into football and watch that quarterback show on Netflix. Did you watch it, Amanda? No. Okay. So they did like a upper echelon QB, a mid tier QB, and like a lower tier QB. You could see like the differences between them, and I think they should do the same in the NHL.
It sounds like
I
that's
don't
not
think it
what they're
should
gonna
be all
do.
superstars.
Even though that
But
does sound cool, it sounds like that's not what they're gonna do. Like a first line player, a third line player, and then a guy who's like extra forward gets healthy scratched a lot.
yeah, it's one of those things. Like I wouldn't mind seeing that Brock Favor kid. He's nasty. You know what I mean? I just everyone you want to expose kind of non-hardcore NHL fans to the sports. And if you do the Connor Bedard, the Connor McDavid, everyone knows them. Everyone's sick of seeing their face. You need to get new blood into it. You know what I mean? Kind of like a 34 team league, but that's another story for last week.
I just feel like they're boring. Like they wouldn't be fun to watch.
Okay, so one thing I want to say real fast is like part of the reason that NHL is doing this is I'm an F1 fan. On Netflix, Drive to Survive has really taken off. NASCAR copied, that's taking off. So the NHL's kind of like, well, this has done great. The big thing, like I know you mentioned like McDavid. How entertaining is McDavid going to be to watch, really? Like you need those personalities who might not be those big names. It's not going to be Crosby. Crosby's such a private player.
Hmm.
I feel like McDavid's going to be the same of like very like low key. You need someone.
Burns.
So Trevor Zegras.
You need
Matty Kachuk.
yes, exactly. You do need someone like Brett Burns who is just like out there, has so many different interests that you're just like, what is going on? You do want some of those not as big names who have that personality behind them that new fans will be like, "Oh, I like them. I want to watch more of them."
I think someone that would be a benefit for both sides, someone that's a star and has a pretty big, larger than life personality, would be David Pastrnak. I love what he
Oh,
did
yeah.
in that outdoor game where he was like, I was listening to Barbie Girl, and then you guys wanted me to come out here, and I didn't want to do this, but I'm here now. I thought that was hilarious.
So the other night he got a hat trick, and Jason said to pick someone not on your favorite team, so you have to pick someone not on the Bruins.
David Pastrnak. No, if it was someone,
Someone not on my team.
someone else
I like
go.
my Brent Burns.
Someone else go. I'm thinking.
I'm going
I can
Ovi or
give you
Brent
one.
Burns.
Ovi's
Oh, Amanda, go.
So I'm going non-player, non-coach. How much fun would it be to see like Wes McCauley like behind the scene? You get the ref's point of view. Wes is such a like larger than life personality on the ice. Like, give me him.
True. That'd be.
I'm surprised you didn't go Torts, Amanda.
I
I don't think he would let
would.
them do it.
That's the problem. Is Torts would just be like, no.
I've had enough. Get
I
out for the rest of the
100%
day.
Yeah,
The-
I 100% would be all for Torts because I think that'd be amazing. But realistically, I don't see Torts doing it. I could see Wes McCauley.
The
doing
amount
it.
of editing and censorship they will have to put in for John Tortorella is probably too overwhelming. I mean, Amazon's got the money; they'll be able to pay anybody to do it. But will it be worth it? You want an hour and a half of just beep 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 beep? No.
I thought you said he's a big teddy bear off the ice.
Apparently he is, but I mean, he still hates the media. So,
Oh, that's
in my choice, I would probably want to say Nikita Kucherov. I think he's got a pretty big personality. He is a star for the NHL. Not as big of a name as like Connor McDavid or something like that. But I mean, one of the things that I liked a lot about what he did in the past is that that 18 million over the cap shirt that he wore in that Stanley Cup picture that he was. I thought that was awesome as hell. So that would be my choice.
I'm gonna go Kaner. Showtime.
Patrick Kane.
Comeback season. I like that.
Not if
What
he.
about Sean Couturier? We could see
Couturier?
the cuts of him getting scratched.
So you want two people with no teeth, Couturier and Brent Burns?
Perfect.
There we go. They're gonna be. They're
That's
gonna be
a
doing.
throwback to an old podcast episode title. I love them toothless.
They're gonna. They're gonna be showing scenes of them in the dentist chair.
Now, couple questions here. Would you rather have them come out with the names first, or would you rather just be surprised when you turn on the show?
I think be surprised.
I would agree with that. Yeah, just
Totally agree.
put it out there and let us figure it out on our own. Because if I know who's going to be in it and I don't like those guys, I'm probably not going to watch it.
Exactly. Because if they pick a player you don't want to watch, like you said, Nikita Kucherov, if I saw that, not interested.
And Brett's done. Brett's already out.
So, I mean, unless you live on a rock, you probably have it. But if you didn't have Amazon Prime, would you be buying it to watch this?
Probably not.
Even as an NHL fan?
Yeah, I don't think I would buy it. And that's just me. I don't watch a lot of reality TV to begin with, so I'm probably not the best example.
I took you as a bachelor type.
I would probably
Bachelor.
figure out other ways to watch it. Like I normally do.
Typical New Yorker.
I do have Amazon Prime though, so there you go.
Like I said, unless you're living under a rock, you have Amazon Prime at this point.
I need that 2-day shipping because I'm not going into a store to buy something. That means I have to talk to people. I don't want that.
I was literally thinking about it today while we're on the topic of Amazon. Like 10 years ago, this wasn't around. What do you think about it? Or it definitely wasn't.
Amazon was around, but it wasn't like it is now.
It wasn't as it is now. Like it's wild.
A
Like,
behemoth?
I was working at a parts store, and it was always eBay, or it was always like some other Craigslist. You know what I mean? It was Amazon.
I
wasn't
wasn't
even a
shopping
thought.
online. Just wasn't a big thing as much at all.
It's crazy.
You use Craigslist for like actual things?
Depends when you're looking for like a used car or something. You know,
You're buying used cars for Amazon now.
back in the day. No, Craigslist. So, I mean, they do have Amazon Motors. I have gotten car parts off of Amazon before,
Nice.
so
I have as well.
they're usually cheaper than anywhere else. So.
Of course they are, and you're going to get them in 2 days. So
Yep.
this is not an endorsement for Amazon.
Craigslist casual
Unless
encounters.
they want to pay us for
Tyson.
the ad.
Amazon pay us. Moving on from that,
Someone pay us.
Someone pay us. Moving on from that, there were as we mentioned multiple times in this discussion, Cass's casual encounters on Craigslist. There were the GM meeting updates, and there was a lot of updates that came out of this. There were it wasn't on the agenda, but there was a conversation about the LTIR loophole, I guess. Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly said the topic, quote, came up briefly. He told members of the executive committee to speak to the entire group of GMs to see to gauge their feelings on it and see if they think it needs to be addressed. That executive committee, is comprised of Doug Armstrong of the St. Louis Blues, Kevin Cheveldayoff of the Winnipeg Jets, Steve Yzerman of the Detroit Red Wings, Lou Lamoriello of the New York Islanders, Ken Holland of the Edmonton Oilers, and Don Waddell of the Carolina Hurricanes. For whatever reason, get him out of there. Bettman said he does not believe that any team is abusing the LTIR provision that allows it to exceed the salary cap, but they are
Except Vegas.
They are monitoring it closely. They are looking into instances of it, and they are ensuring that it's not happening in the way that the fans
Give me
think.
a break. What a load of crap.
So to Brett's comment, here is a quote directly from Gary Bettman. I think everybody is satisfied that at least until this point, there hasn't been any game playing in that regard. The collective bargaining agreement was negotiated almost 20 years ago, and there were certain provisions that were put in which at the time made sense and continue to make sense. If it were to be abused, that would obviously be something we want to address with the Players Association. Nothing? You got nothing for that?
I don't even know. Like it's unbelievable. Even the Panthers took advantage of it 2 years ago. It didn't help us, but clearly teams are taking advantage of it. And Vegas gets the biggest slack right now in Tampa because they made it work, right? Every team does use it, but and I think it should be fair to all the teams. Make salary cap continue into the playoffs.
I would agree with.
I don't know how they're acting like it's not happening. That's what those comments make me sound like, and that's just it's not true. It's like clearly happening. I've seen my own team do it. Like I said, I'm not only blaming Vegas and Tampa. Like all these teams do it. They get a player who's hurt and they throw them on LTIR, even if they're going to be healthy before the end of the season, and go and trade for these players they wouldn't be able to afford otherwise. It's clearly happening. The fans are we're not making it up. Like that's what it's like. It's like we're being gaslit by Gary Bettman here. Like unbelievable.
I do feel that I'm with you on that. I do think that we need to allow for the salary cap to continue in the playoffs. I've said it multiple times on this podcast. I've said it multiple times in our Discord. If you cannot ice the team in the regular season due to salary cap implications, you should not be able to ice that team in the playoffs. That's where I stand on it. Cass, you got anything, or are you just looking at your
Yeah, I was waiting
cubicles?
for Cass to see where he's at.
No, I'm
He's
just,
sleepy. He's a sleepy peepee boy.
I'm very sleepy. If 31 other teams don't have a problem with it, who am I to say I have a problem with it? Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, it sucks. Yeah, it's mighty coincidental. 3 years in a row, Mark Stone has some kind of injury. But if you're competing, the chances are you're over the cap at some point during the season.
Exactly.
It is what it is. Like, there's different levels of over the cap, whether it's 1 million or 17 million. But I mean, maybe you set a secondary cap with an LTIR cap. Like, you know what I mean? You can only have so much money buried.
That's actually I like that
Something like
idea
that,
a lot,
maybe.
Cass.
You know?
I
So
don't
it's
think
like
That
it'd
way
be
you
like you
have-
cap it at like 5 mil. Like once you reach, you can get relief 5 mil on LTIR. So if you have a player who is on a 7-5 contract, they get injured, only 5 million of that would go to LTIR. The rest would count against your cap. Is that what you're kind of suggesting?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
you can
I don't
only
hate that
you can only
idea.
bury so much money. You know what I mean?
I don't
Oh,
disagree with that. I think that they should have that. I think that there should be some sort of LTIR cap relief in place. But I don't think that they should be able
There
to
needs
do
to be
what they're
something.
doing.
Right, there shouldn't be like this 100% cap relief, and then you can
Yeah.
go out and trade for however many star players based on how many guys you have LTI on LTIR.
It's still very possible that Vegas loses that second wild card spot, guys. I mean, they have 81 points. St. Louis is right
Please.
behind them with 79.
Please.
Minnesota is at 77, and then the next closest team
Seattle.
is Calgary at
Oh.
71. I mean, shut up, Cass. The Blues and Wilds have the opportunity to take that spot from them.
It would be beautiful. We said that last week, and I still feel the same.
I don't
Obviously.
know. I think the NHL is better if Vegas is in the playoffs. Personally, it gives someone for everyone to root against. Blues and the Wild aren't going to
I thought
make
everyone hates Florida.
Blues and Wild aren't going to make any noise in the playoffs. At least Vegas will be a team to watch, and it could be a potential upset as a wild card spot.
Nashville's
No one
going
hates
all the
Florida
way.
because no one cares about Florida.
I don't know. I feel like we've gotten some major hate since last year.
Carolina hates Florida.
I
Sorry,
know.
Brett.
Yep. I know that. I know they do. Boston's not a big fan of Florida at much.
Carolina
Don't-
hates the Eastern Conference Finals too, though. So
Tyson, I'm going to
Leafs
neglect
fans-
you emotionally.
Leaf fans still troll Panthers groups. So
We
Before
want
we move on-
Florida. Go ahead, Cass.
I was going to say, before we move on to the next topic brought up in the GM meetings, I do want to bring up something that wasn't on our outline. That's kind of on our on a sadder note. The hockey community lost Chris Simon last week. It sounds like complications from CTE. And they also lost a Penguins player.
his name was a little bit harder to say.
Konstantin Koltsov.
Also.
Apparent death by suicide. So we just want to extend our condolences to the family and friends of those two individuals.
What a
And,
sad loss, and they weren't
Never
expected at all. Such young
No.
guys. I mean, and
They were
this
both
is
in their 40s and 50s, right?
Yeah, I think
Early
Chris
50s.
Simon was
52, I think.
Chris Simon was
52.
52. Yep.
I think the
And
Penguins guy wasn't even 50. I think he was in his 40s.
I thought he was 40. 42.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Oh, and As much as I love the NHL and stuff, they're still kind of blowing the CTE.
All of these major leagues are. The NFL is too.
Bullshit.
The NFL is
So-
too. I mean, and even like, and I hate to even bring it up because I don't think it's a sport, but even like the WWE is just, and look at what happened with Benoit, Chris Benoit. Like, those things are, CTE is a major problem. I am grateful that they're taking some sort of considerations into keeping these guys' heads protected, but CTE is a thing, and let's not make believe it's not. Seriously.
Dramatic. And so
Honestly,
happening.
and I'm kind of, I don't pay attention to it as much, but I'm surprised there hasn't been a class or a civil action lawsuit against all four leagues at the same time. By a
Oh,
bunch
this
of
is
former
about
players.
concussions. That's what you guys are talking about with CTE.
Correct.
Sorry, I had to look that up. I must be very out of the loop with that because you guys are saying CT, and I'm like,
Yeah,
Don't know
well, a
what
lot
that-
of former enforcers
I looked
are
it up.
suffering from. It's essentially a condition that stems off of
causes
having too
death
many
of nerve cells in the
yeah.
brain.
Yep.
I
Chronic
saw.
traumatic encephalopathy or something like that. I think that's what it stands for.
I have no idea how to say that third word, but that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Encephalopathy.
I mean, it's
I'm surprised.
it's from repeated concussions,
Right.
is what science is saying. And these are trained doctors, these are trained scientists. Like, let's be real, this is a major issue for all the major leagues, baseball included. I'm sure that, you know, things happen there. I don't watch it, but it's not as physical as the other sports. But
The only time
It
that
happens.
happens, it's a terrible accident. So like, I won't go too far into baseball, but just to say that it's not too rare of an occurrence. The most times it's going to happen, it's going to happen to a pitcher on the mound if a batter swings
Yeah.
a ball and it goes right back and hits the guy's
Yep,
head.
I've
That
seen
does
that.
not happen. That does not happen too often, but when it does, it is terrible.
It is terrible
they
to
have-
watch. Yeah.
So baseball has tried to do something about that, but the players don't want to wear the protective hats. So
No.
unless they make it
Yeah.
mandatory, they not to make light of any of this because we shouldn't, but the hats that do look terrible. So I see why a lot of players don't want to wear
Yeah.
them. So there's another solution for that, but for head injuries with baseball, that's pretty much the only place that happens.
Tyson, make
Because
sure.
there's
Sorry, go ahead.
But
I was gonna say that the batters have pretty good protection because players have been hitting the head
Yep.
from 95 mile per hour fastballs and stuff, and they're normally okay if it gets their big old batting helmet.
Anyway, moving on from that, continuing discussion on the GM meeting, there were an outline scheduled for the Four Nations face-off that's happening next season with the United States, Canada, Sweden, and Finland. It is going to be taking place from February 12th through the 20th. The last NHL games, this is a long deal too. The last of NHL games before the Four Nations face-off is going to be on February 9th, and that's Super Bowl Sunday. The four teams competing will practice February 10th and 11th, and then the tournament begins February 12th. Players that are not competing in the Four Nations face-off will have an 8-day break from the 9th to the 17th before returning to practice with their NHL teams on the 18th, and then the NHL schedule is going to resume on February 22nd.
Goodness gracious!
Yep.
That's 20 days without NHL games, right? Almost 20.
More than 20. 23.
Is it more?
From February 9th to February 22nd.
Yeah. Okay. Jeez.
so real quick, going back to the LTIR because we have a new person in the chat, a young man named Tom, I believe is how we
Welcome,
pronounce his
Tom.
name. He said LTIR needs overhauled. Problem is in hockey, when a player retires, they don't get paid. That's why guys get put there to stash them. Not all, but a lot.
Carey Price.
Look at his team is Washington apparently. Backstrom won't play again. Oshie needs to walk away as well, but they would forfeit their salaries. You see this a lot, like Brent Seabrook, Pavel Datsuk, Shea Weber. They're still on
Carey
the books
Price.
because if they actually retire, they don't get paid. So it's a very good point brought up by that young man. As far as the Four Nations face-offs, I love it. I'm really hoping to be able to go to a game here in Boston, but if tickets are crazy expensive, I won't. So
They probably
See what
are going to
happens.
be.
It's 15 days with no hockey.
Damn,
NHL
Master
games.
Amanda, love it.
I think you can't see me counting on my fingers.
She talks with her
And-
hands,
and-
and none of our viewers get to see it.
One day, maybe.
Maybe one day. Additionally, there were some proposed rule changes from the GM meetings. The biggest one for me is that they're going to allow for the ability to challenge a delay of game for puck out of play. The GMs agree to use the coach's challenge to take down a penalty for a puck out of play. They also agree that the coach's challenge would only apply to delay of game penalties when the puck is deflected off a player, a stick, or the boards, and not on a judgment call on how the puck left the defensive zone, such as batted pucks. So they're
Wasn't
gonna,
there another penalty that they voted to be able to challenge?
yeah,
That
they're
wasn't
gonna,
like the only one.
they're gonna allow for video review for high sticking as well.
High sticking.
Yeah, so
That one I think is more important, and that's my opinion. I know you brought up the delay of game, but I remember there was something that actually benefited the Panthers in that Carolina series where D'Angelo got high sticked and the refs didn't see it, and that was that. So I think that's going to be a big impact thing, being able to challenge high sticks.
So I don't think
So
it's
what
going.
makes you say delay of game?
Well, to touch upon your point for high sticking really quick, I don't think it's going to allow them to challenge whether it happened.
Non-calls? Oh no.
Yeah.
If your own player stick whacked you, right? Or
Yeah,
your own
so-
stick, right?
So the GMs agree that teams should have the ability to fix a minor penalty for high sticking through a coach's challenge, but only when a player is struck by a teammate's stick, the puck, or his own stick. So if they missed a call, they're not able to challenge it for high sticking.
I see.
Right.
What a shame.
As for the delay of game, I guess I don't really. I guess I take it back. What I remember from listening on the radio over this last week is that it hasn't really happened too much where they've made the wrong call over the last decade. I think they've made the wrong call 12 times, is what they said. So maybe, at least they're going to have the ability to do that. The only issue I have with it is how long is it going to take to make these determinations? Is it going to take 15 minutes? Because I don't want to see that.
That is the issue, right? Because there are sometimes these reviews go on for like literally 5 minutes. I don't know if they go. I know 15 minutes feels like a bit of
an
but it
exaggeration.
feels like 15 sometimes. But I've definitely seen reviews go on for real time 5 minutes, which is way too long. So they definitely need to figure out a way to quickly correct a mistake if one is there.
You know what I like too is this was last year in the XFL. They actually showed you like control room while they were reviewing calls.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff like
I remember
that. Was
that.
a
I've
pretty
seen that.
that was a pretty cool thing. That'd be interesting to say. But yeah, I mean, like Jesse already said, like how many calls this is really going to affect throughout the season. Like they're pretty good at getting that one right, the delay game. So
I think if with them having the ability to do it in the playoffs, it'll give protections for those types of calls. So I don't hate it. I don't hate the coach's challenge for high sticking either. I don't think that there should be video reviews for missed calls though. I don't like that.
That would take forever because those unfortunately seem to happen fairly often.
It is what it is. I mean, there has to be some sort of human element to the game, in my opinion. Once you start getting these AI refs and stuff like that, like the robotic umpires in baseball, stupid. I'm not.
You're right. When AI does take over the world, that will be part of it, and that'll be within the next 10 years. So be prepared.
Stop it. I'm not gonna watch this sport ever again. Then.
The AI umps will be first, and then it will enter the other sports.
There was also conversation about players sitting on the boards. The GMs agree that a linesman should advise the referee of a player violation during a stoppage of play. The referee will then provide the offending team with a warning, and then will advise the other bench. After one warning, the team precipitating the warning will be issued a bench minor penalty on the next infraction. So this is when players are coming off the ice and in the middle of a switch. They are not allowing players to sit with one leg over the boards while that is happening. And this is because 2 linesmen, I believe, were injured in games.
Do you guys remember when I saw this rule? I thought it recalled that I wish I could remember the players, but there was a guy sitting on the bench with his stick, and then a guy on the ice comes and just grabs the stick from him. You guys remember that?
I don't
It was the
remember that.
Canes.
It was the Canes.
Yes. It
Yeah, there was
happened
a guy
to the
sitting.
Canes.
So a Canes
say it was
player sitting here
Aho.
on the bench with his stick, and then a guy on the ice comes by and just takes the guy's stick.
That should have been a penalty.
It wasn't.
It should've.
Nothing happened.
That's ridiculous. So back on to that about the players sitting over the boards. Apparently, a linesman exited a game twice early against Arizona and Dallas, and against Tampa Bay versus San Jose, due to a laceration that he received from a player's skate who was sitting over the boards. So what they're trying to do is just
It's not
ensure.
as fun.
Yeah, they're just trying to ensure referee and linesman safety at that point.
That makes sense. They got to skate over there. Referees are trying to stay along the board so they're not interfering with the play. I think that's a smart decision.
So my question for this, right, is the linesman's the one who's going to go over and tell the referee for the warning.
Right.
So-
Yes. He's going to go tell the ref, and then the
So-
ref's going to tell the bench.
So is the lineman going to blow the whistle for the penalty then? If this happens? Because technically refs are only supposed to be the ones calling penalties. But the refs aren't going to be watching the bench. It's going to be the linesmen, correct?
I guess they would be
Oh.
telling the referee again at that point.
I guess so. Yeah.
But do they blow the play dead and then tell the ref? Or like how, you know what I mean? It's kind of convoluted.
I guess we'll
use
have to
that
see
word,
what it happen in real time.
against the Canes.
Another thing that they talked about is that they're going to allow for goalie warm-ups in the event of a concussion. So the GMs agree that in situations where a concussion spotter... The GMs agree that in situations where a concussion spotter directs a mandatory removal of a goaltender, the replacement should be given a 45 to 60 second warm-up. So not if he gets
I'm surprised
pulled.
this wasn't already a thing.
Oh, they going cold. Even the E-Bug goes in cold, I'm pretty sure.
That's crazy to me. I thought they did warm up there. I've not makes sense to not do it when you switch goaltenders. That'd be like if they start doing what Major League Baseball. I guess we're talking about baseball a lot this podcast. Major League Baseball
Only
relief
you.
pitchers. Yes, you're right. It is only me. Relief pitchers come in and are allowed to take a certain amount of warm up pitches
Yes. Yeah.
before they start throwing.
Getting back to the leg over the bench and stuff. Who calls the too many men penalties? It's the referees, right? Or is it the linemen?
It would have to be the referees, right?
That's what I thought too. Because one of our listeners said, "Don't linesmen have the authority to call too many men?" I don't think it's the linesmen. I think it's the referees, if I'm not mistaken. But Amanda's going to look that
Linesman
up for
can
us.
call.
If only Ethan was here,
One.
he would know.
Did you know Jeff Petrie's dad played baseball? Tyson just wants to let us all know.
I should have known that was coming.
Surprised it took that long.
The linesman can report a variety of penalties, such as too many men on the ice.
Okay. But
So
they
so
can't,
they
like,
can
call it. They'd have to report.
they have to report it to the referee, who then assesses it.
Got it.
So you guys
it's gonna
can be offsides this one play. I'm going to go skate up to the ref so he knows to blow his whistle. Okay, I'll be right back. Thanks.
I assume he waits for there to be a stoppage. No,
What happens if the team scores a goal and there's a delayed penalty? You know what I mean?
Or maybe
So-
there's some
Oh,
sort of
right, that makes it
hand indication. I don't know.
Maybe he just puts a second puck on the ice and it really fucks up play. Oops, there's my first one.
dude, you were doing so good.
I know.
There
What
were
else you got?
there was a couple of other things that I don't really think we need to discuss. The last one I would say is a line change after the net was dislodged. So the GM suggests an adjustment to Rule 63.8 so that the offending team cannot make a line change regardless of which player accidentally
Oh, yeah.
dislodged the net. So it's kind of like in icing where they won't be able to make a line change after the net is dislodged. I don't hate that.
I like that rule. I remember reading that and being like, makes sense.
Congratulations to Boston College on winning the Hockey East tournament.
Nice, good for them.
They got
San Jose
they
Shark.
got
prospect Will Smith.
Gauthier, Will Smith. They have a lot of draft picks on their team. But a lot of people knew about Gautier because he was part of the whole Flyers drama.
Mhm.
Not wanting to play for them.
Right. I'm so excited to be a Flyer. Just kidding.
JK, LOL. Get out of here. So that's all the topics we have, boys and girl. Is there
But
anything else?
We have exciting news
Do-
to announce. Amanda looks like she wants to tell us.
Do it.
So we have officially reached 200 followers
Yay!
on our Facebook page, which we are incredibly grateful for each and every one of our followers. So we are officially going to be starting our first giveaway from the podcast. And so we will get a post up soon, but does anyone in particular want to mention what we're giving away?
You can.
We are going to be giving away a digital copy of NHL 24 to our followers. So
Well, to one
you-
person.
To one person.
person, yeah.
One winner. We don't have we don't make money. We don't make money on this. So just one person. We will put the rules in
that's
the
the whole
Facebook
point of the
post.
giveaway. Yeah.
Everyone gets one. You get no, just one.
No, we're not Oprah. We're not Oprah.
Maybe one day. But as our way of saying thank you to following us, we are excited to do this first giveaway.
Yeah, we're stoked. Thank you guys for supporting us, for following us, for watching us. We really appreciate it. We're just a bunch of nobodies who like to talk hockey. So thank you so much. Yeah, for everything. And that seems to do it for all of us. My name is Jesse.
My name's Brett.
This is Cass.
And I'm Amanda.
Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Top Shelf Dusters, Top Shelf Dusters on YouTube, Top Shelf Dusters on X, Twitter, whatever the hell we're calling it. And then you can email us topics you want us to discuss at topshelfdusters@gmail.com. We'll catch you guys next week. Have a good one.